Do you know exception handling? Do you know what are the points those are covered in exception handling while using Java programming? In this session, I am going to explain each point those that comes under exception handling. And this is an overview of exception handling. Already we have seen lot of points in exception handling. We have finished almost each part of exception handling, and in this session I am going to give you a brief overview of every point so that you can reconnect with those points and you can make your logic more perfect. I want you to practice more programs with exception handling so that it will be easy to understand and it will be habitualized to use try and proper catch blocks in every Java program. In this session, I am going to give you the brief overview of entire exception handling topic in Java programming. So let us begin with the mind map, where I am trying to explain you exception handling part in detail. So this is a mind map where I have divided exception handling part in 6 parts. Exception handling in 6 parts. Now for all parts I have developed separate videos. You can go back and watch those videos if you want. The first point, that is the concept of exception handling. Now to understand concept in a proper way, again we can divide it in 4 different parts. What is exception? That is the first thing. We have to understand what is exception. It is an abnormal situation where program gets crashed. So that is exception. So what is actual exception? What is the conceptual part of exception? And then once you know what is exception, how to handle such situations, and that is known as exception handling. So exception handling is a technique to avoid exceptions, to avoid program crash. So exception handling doesn't actually resolve the exception, but at least it will stop the program from abnormal termination. Program will not be terminated and it will continue by giving proper messages or by changing the inputs or the logic behind the program. Then to handle the exception, we need to use try and catch. Then how to use try and catch? What is actually meaning of try block? What is actually meaning of catch block? And how to use them? And after that, why we need the exception handling? Why to use? Because exception handling is not mandatory. Then why we need to handle the exceptions? So these points we have to understand theoretically, and that is what called as concept of exception handling. Once we are having this, then we are going to use the practically how to use a try block. What are the rules that we have to follow while using a try block? What are the rules for a catch block? How many catch blocks we can write? How many exceptions can be handled by one catch block? So these are different rules. Those are already set by Java. We have to understand them, and then we have to know different structures of try and catch blocks. So one try block followed by one catch blocks, or one try block with multiple catch blocks, nested try block inside another try block, a catch block with a try block. So these are different possible combinations of try and catch blocks. We have to understand how can we write them and what will be the behavior of those structures. And then we have to write some programs by using those try and catch blocks, and we can use simple exception handling with the help of try and catch blocks. Once we are familiarized with try and catch block, the third point we have to understand in detail what is exception and what is error. So exception versus error, differentiation between them. I have developed a separate video for it. You can go back and watch it. Then we have to also know different exception, ready-made classes. So in one of the video, I have given the full hierarchy of exception classes. The throwable class. Now this is the parent class of all exception classes, but it is abstract class. It cannot create its object directly. But all exception and error classes belongs to or extend the throwable class. And because of this throwable class, exception object or error object can be thrown from the program. That getting thrown property is given by throwable class. And exception is a generalized exception class which is used as a parent for all exception classes. And then we have to learn different exception classes like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bounds exception. And we have to use them in programs as per requirement. Now, after using different exception classes and understanding the hierarchy of classes, those are available, ready-made available in Java, we have to understand one more concept called as a finally block. So finally block is used for writing important statements. But here, for using finally block, we have to understand why we need to use a finally block. So while using try and catch blocks, some code will not be executed. And if that code is very important to be executed, then we have to use the finally block. Now finally block is used for important and code that must execute. So in all situations, finally block always executes. Okay. Now in try block, if exception occurs, remaining try block will not execute. And if no exception occur, then catch block will not execute. So either complete try block will execute or some catch blocks will execute. Again, if there are multiple catch block, we cannot give the guarantee which catch block will execute because it depends upon the exception occurred at runtime. And therefore, if we need to write some statements, those must execute before ending the program, then we can put such statements in a finally block. So why to use a finally block, that we have to understand. And once we know it, how to use the finally block, where to write a finally block. It is written after try and catch, but how many finally blocks we can use, how to use them more effectively. I have developed a separate video on finally block. You can go back and watch it. So finally block. After understanding finally block, we have to understand one more concept called as how can we postpone the exception. Most of the time in development, the multi-level architecture is there. Senior programmers, junior programmers. So one programmer is developing classes, other programmers are implementing the classes by calling methods inside them. So who will be the responsible for writing exception handling code? Now here, if first level user want to postpone it to the next level of user, then it is possible with the help of throws clause. Now how to postpone the exception? I have already developed two different videos. In one video, I have explained theoretically how to postpone it. And in a second video, I have given a practical demonstration how to postpone the exception handling. Okay, you just go back and watch those videos. And the last point in exception handling is our own classes of exception, user-defined exceptions. Now, in user-defined exceptions, again, I have developed two different videos. In one of the video, I have given the theoretical background. What is user-defined exception? How to create user-defined exception and why we need a user-defined exception. And in a second video, I have given the practical demonstration of how to create user-defined exception class, and I have shown how to use it appropriately. So you can go back and watch those videos. So this is overall content, 6 parts of exception handling. I have covered all those points in different videos, and if you follow all those videos, all those sessions, I'm sure that exception handling topic in Java will be clear to you. Only thing is that you have to practice more programs on those, and if you want to learn such kind of programming from my side, you can directly join my classes. Those are available online. You can just go to the description where I have given a link for maxsofteducation.com, and you can learn detailed programming from my side. Because what I personally feel is, if you want to learn and develop your career, you should have a good mentor. And here I am trying to give you the clear and crisp idea of programming. I have designed courses in a such a way that I have given a proper sequence which language you have to learn first. Before learning first language, what should be your mindset? Then I have slowly developed curriculum so that it will be easy to digest. I have made very small videos and programs so that it will be very easy to learn, and you can learn the exact knowledge without wasting your time. So if you are interested to learn, you can directly join the courses, because it takes a lot of time. If you're reading from a book, then you're watching in a videos, you're searching on YouTube, and again different ideas gets populated. So I will recommend that you can learn in a proper steps. Otherwise, it's okay, fine. You can learn it from YouTube also. You can watch a lot of videos I have given free of cost. But in that case, what happens? The proper sequence and personal touch is missing, and therefore I am recommending, if you are really interested to learn, then without wasting a time you can join the program. So that will be the easy and a shortcut way to learn the programming. This is about exception handling, and we have covered almost all points in exception handling. I hope all those ideas are very clear to you and you are watching all those videos. So if you have got any value from this session, please put it in your comment what you have learned from today's session. Your comments are always encouraging me to give more and more videos. So please put your comment and share with your friends. And if you have not subscribed to my channel till now, please subscribe the channel, and also ask your friends and other learners to subscribe the channel and watch my videos. Thank you very much.